Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon to all our 12th Monarchs out there in Monarch Nation, coming off a disappointing 38-14 loss at home against North Carolina State. That puts our record at 2-1. Compliments to Coach Doran and North Carolina State. That's a very good football team. Much improved from last year. They were 8-5 last year, 3-0 this year. Good football team, class outfit. We wish them nothing but the best. From our standpoint, this game really came down to third down. That's what decided the game. We were 3 for 12 on offense on third down. North Carolina State was 9 for 16, and that led in the huge difference in the number of plays that were run. They ran 79 plays. We only ran 44, which is the least we've ever run, and that'll be a major area of focus for us this week in practice. Working on third and short, medium. Every week we continue to work on third and long, fourth down, special sits, but we've got to improve in those areas. North Carolina State had a lot of third and short and medium, which makes it tough to defend. We had a lot of third and longs, which makes it very obvious what you need to do, and that led to field position. Our average drive start was our own 20. Their average drive start was the 39, and when you're giving up 2 first downs to start drives, that makes it very difficult to stay in the game. The good news offensively is we did not turn the ball over. We did not have any penalties, and with a freshman quarterback leading our offense right now, he only has 1 turnover in 3 games, and that's impressive. He'll continue to improve. Special teams was outstanding for us. Satchel Ziffer punted 8 times for a 43.5-yard average. We're able with Satchel to do a regular base punt. We're able to do the rugby punt, which makes it difficult to return against us. So we'll continue to work on that package, and Ricky Seegers was very good on all of his kicks. His kickoffs were excellent. We were able to cover it. On defense, I thought we were outstanding on first and second down. We had some issues on third down in this game. Falante Misher had 12 tackles from his strong safety position, probably his best game he's ever played here. He was all over the field, played an outstanding game. TJ Ricks, again, in double digits with tackles. He had 10. He's playing at a very high level right now. He just keeps getting better. He's smart. He's instinctive. He works at it. He's doing that right now on a badly sprained ankle. He had to come out in this game. During the game, he went back in. He just continues to tough it out and keep playing at a high level. And then Shadow Williams made an outstanding appearance in this game. He had 9 tackles. It was his kind of game. It was more of an in-the-box game with his speed and instinctiveness. He had 9 tackles. That was clearly his best game, and only his 3rd game with us. So we're getting solid play right now out of the linebacker position. Interestingly enough, now, if you look at us defensively after 3 games, I thought we would be much improved this year. We are. Last year, we ended up the season giving up 38 points a game. Right now, we're giving up 27, so that's a major improvement. Still not where we want it to be, but we're 4th in Conference USA in scoring defense. We're 5th in total defense at 381 yards. Last year, it was 452, so that's a 71-yard improvement in yardage through the first 3 games. Our pass defense has been much better. We're 2nd in the league right now in pass defense at 178 yards. It was 230 last year, so we're 52 yards better. My point being is we're playing better defense. It might not have looked like it Saturday night. We ended up giving up 38 points, but we're improving. I see it. We're much better right now. In the defensive line, we're playing 10 players. We're able to rotate guys through in the game. We got pressure on Brissett the other night. That's the first time this year anybody's got to him. We harassed him, which was a good point. As I just mentioned, our linebackers and TJ Ricks and Shadow Williams played really well in this game. We're getting good play from our defensive backs right now. Aaron Young and Brandon Addison are playing a lot of football, and they're playing solid football. Through 3 games, we haven't given up the long ball. We haven't given up the big runs, which we've been able to do on offense. We've had big runs. We've had an explosive pass play, but we haven't given that up yet on defense. So I like what we're doing there. Offensively, it really came down to the fact we got dominated up front. This is the first team that's committed to stopping the run, and we couldn't block them. Ray didn't have an opportunity to get the ball out. And when he got to the line of scrimmage, there were guys there waiting for him. We didn't keep a hat on a hat up front, which is something we've traditionally been very good at. We'll need to improve that this week. We did have the one explosive on the screen pass that Ray took out, which was really good to see. That's something we'll continue to add to our game is the screen passes to help us offensively. I thought Schuler continues to improve. He threw 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions. The touchdown pass he threw to Jonathan Duhart was a checked play. He checked to that against a blitz we hadn't seen, so we hadn't shown him the blitz. They brought 3 through the 2 A gaps. He checked the blitz. He took the hit on the play, recognized man coverage, and that continues to be impressive to see him doing those type of things. We just got to keep improving and keep throwing and catching the ball a little bit better than we have. This week's opponent, Appalachian State, comes in with a 1-1 record. They're a veteran team coming off a bye, which will help them. Any injuries they had from preseason or the first 2 games, particularly that physical game they had against Clemson 2 weeks ago, they should be healed up. They returned 20 of 22 starters from last year. This is a good veteran team. They've won 6 of their last 7 games. They won their last 5 to end the season, and then their first one this year, they had the 1 loss to Clemson. Offensively, they're averaging 30 points a game. Good running team. They pride themselves on running the ball, play action pass. They've got 8 seniors or juniors playing on offense, so you can do a lot more when you got a veteran team. Defensively, giving up 20 points a game. Again, 8 seniors and juniors starting for them on defense, and they're excellent in special teams. Their kicker, punter, very good. So this will be a major challenge based on who we're playing. We're in game 2 of a really tough 3-game stretch right now against 3 bowl teams, excellent football teams in NC State, App State, and then Marshall next week. So this will be a big game for us. And I talked to the team yesterday in our team meeting about the season. We've really broken it down into 2 parts. The first 4 games, the non-league games. The goal is to get as many wins as you can in the non-league to get closer to that magic number of 6 to be bowl eligible. We've got an opportunity to be 3-1 after the first 4. Before we get to goal number 2, which is to compete for the Eastern Division Championship in Conference USA. So I like where we are. The kids responded yesterday in the meetings. They were disappointed with the loss, but they see us improving as a team, and there's real good energy right now on this football team. They were outstanding during the game. You know, we scored to make it 28-14. The sideline felt like we were going to win the game, so that's a good indication of where they are mentally right now. We're in good shape physically, no injuries coming out of this game other than just some bumps, bruises, soreness, so feel good going into this one, and I'll take questions.
I mean, everyone knows NC State is a great program. Not everyone would know a lot about Appalachian State, but they've got quite a history.
They do.
Great facilities, that sort of thing. Are you
Yeah.
players aware of their program?
I haven't talked a lot about the history of the program with the players. I traditionally don't, other than just to review, you know, when you play somebody early in the season, review what they did last year, what they've got coming back. But I'm well aware of their tradition and history, what Coach Moore built there, winning 3 national championships, the game that everybody remembers when they upset Michigan. And their transition is they've done it the right way. Like us, they've tried to redshirt as many of their young guys as they could in the last 2 years. They've set themselves up for success. They've got a lot of younger players playing. So obviously, this is a very good program that, a lot like us, they're used to winning.
We talked last week about the hype and the excitement of playing at a team like NC State. But what do you find that your team gains from it, just from one week to the next?
What did we gain from playing NC State?
Yeah, I didn't phrase that very well. Like, what did you maybe learn in that game, and the kids learn, like playing a team like NC State, that they can use the rest of the year?
Well, the number one thing you come out of when you play a team like that, that's a quality ACC team, is our players recognize the size, the speed, the strength, and particularly for our younger guys, it makes it easier as a coach to say that's where we need to go. You know, that's why the weight room's so important, and what you're doing physically with your body. But they also come out of it with a lot of confidence because they felt like they were in the game right midway through the fourth quarter. They felt like they were competing and in the game, and especially with our defense and special teams. But the size and the strength are the difference, and we felt it up front. We felt it with their defensive line against our offensive line.
I mean, how close is your offense to, as you say, cleaning up the areas? I mean, there were times Saturday where, you had some passes dropped. Schuler may have, he may have missed a couple of receivers, a reception here or there, and you're moving the ball. Are you close, or is that not a fair perception?
Well, I'll stick with my my statement I made in preseason. I felt like it was going to take us probably to the midway point of the season before we could pull that together. I always feel like it's harder to have success on offense than it is on defense. On offense, you generally have to have everybody doing their part, and particularly when it comes to the throw game, because 2 out of 3 things that happen in the pass game are bad. You can get a drop or you can get a turnover. So your percentages are against you to start with in the pass game. But with us right now, it's tying together the protection, the throw, and the catch. And Schuler's been on his reads. He's been going where he needs to go. He's made 1 mistake in 3 games. He's been on his stuff. But he hasn't always mechanically put the ball in the right place. And then I've been surprised with the number of drops we've had, particularly guys that have played a lot of football. That was very uncharacteristic of David Washington the other night. David generally doesn't drop passes, and in the limited time he's played wide receiver, he's had some of the biggest catches in the history of our program. Go back to last year against Louisiana Tech. I mean, between him and Taylor, they kept us in that game with the throw and catches. So that part's been surprising to see when we've had a couple of guys that generally catch everything. And what happens, Harry, when you're struggling in a facet of your offense, like right now we're struggling in the pass game, those things get magnified. When Taylor Heineke was quarterback here and we were throwing the ball 60 times a game, I go back to the New Hampshire game where he threw for 730 yards. He was 55 for 79. We had 8 drops in that game. But nobody remembers the 8 drops. Everybody just remembers the 730 yards. So it's magnified when your quarterback goes 11 for 23 for 152 yards, the drops or the missed throws. And we're trying to develop a freshman quarterback right now against some really difficult competition. In fairness to Schuler, there have been comparisons to Taylor. Well, when Taylor started as a freshman, all due respect to who he played, it wasn't who we're playing now. It's faster, it's moving faster, the D-line's coming at him faster, the coverage is better. It's much more challenging, and I'm very encouraged with the way he's playing right now. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I did not expect he would be this advanced in the way he sees things. The subtle things that nobody else sees besides the coaches are the number of times he's saved us in protection, the number of times he's got up there and checked a protection. The prime example was the other night, the touchdown to Duhart. I mean, they brought an A-gap blitz with 2 linebackers and the free safety. We hadn't seen it. We hadn't seen it all year. They hadn't shown it on video. If he doesn't check the protection, get the line to it, move the back end, he's going to get it in the chops before he gets the ball off. But he saw it. He saw that coming. He recognized it. How? I couldn't tell you how he did it because we hadn't shown it to him. It was like getting asked a question on a test and you've never seen the material. He just had to react. So to see him doing those type of things after 3 games is incredibly encouraging, because if he can do that stuff, we can add more to the package. We can do more things. We can give him more freedom to check to a play when he wants to. And we weren't doing those things with Taylor. He was very limited on what we allowed him to do. Now, granted, he was a true freshman, but I'm very, very encouraged with where Schuler is and where I know he's going to go. It's just going to take a minute. He's trying to figure it out, and these guys that are playing with him are they're working at it. I don't watch the video and see anybody not doing what they're supposed to be doing. The routes are all where they're supposed to be. The protections are right. He's on the reads. Now it's a matter of execution, and that only comes through repetition.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, you always talk so much about what the State,
Mhm.
following the games. What was David Washington's demeanor? How
Mhm.
did he respond? I know you said, you told us what you told him at halftime,
Mhm.
and he did respond in the second half, but what was he like
Mhm.
the day after, and what did you see out of him?
Well, first of all, he was incredibly apologetic, which I didn't feel like he had anything to apologize for. I mean, he's out there trying to catch the ball. He called the offense up and apologized to him at halftime. You know, he basically said, "Hey, the first half's on me. It's my fault," which it wasn't. I mean, it's not one player's fault. Again, it gets magnified because we were struggling to get first downs, and you know, 2 of those catches would have been 4 first downs. But then he responded in the second half. The touchdown drive we had in the second half, he got us going. You know, in a close man coverage on our sideline, he caught a contested ball on 3rd and 6 that got the drive started. He had another big catch, contested ball on their sideline. Again, I go back to that word contested throws. When you're playing somebody like NC State, you know, there's not a lot that's just wide open, other than the screen pass we flipped out to Ray and he went 70. Everything else was contested throughout the game. Even Duhart's catch was a phenomenal catch. It was good coverage. But he was really apologetic, and he apologized after the game, and I just reiterated to him, I said, look, you don't need to apologize. You know, you went out, you competed, you just didn't make the plays. The most important thing is you bounced back. That's what you don't see a lot of times. You don't see somebody have a difficult first half like he did and then come back and play the way he did in the second half, and he blocked outstanding. He competed. So that's encouraging to see. And you know, I don't think I can say this enough with David. He's still learning how to play receiver. You know, he's played it for 1 year. He's going into his second year. The other night was his 15th game playing wideout. So I like his mindset. And his mindset and demeanor, the story I'm telling you now, that's everybody. That's the whole team. And that hasn't always been like that around here. You know, you could argue the last 4 years that one guy carried the torch and everybody else was along for the ride. And that's not the case anymore. Now it's everybody's got to pull in the same direction, and they're doing that. They're trying to do that, and we're going to get there. We're going to get there sooner than later. It just didn't look as good Saturday night as it's going to, and the level of competition had a lot to do with that.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, thank you all for coming. Thank you, 12th Monarchs. We'll see you Saturday afternoon at SB Ballard Stadium.